Yup. Hello friends. It's one of those videos again. Perhaps I'm completely out of touch here, but I wanted to ask the viewers a question. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions here, so I'm super interested to think what you think, so comment in the comments with your comments. We begin. Hello YouTubers, this is the noobifier. We just had a Q&A with the developers who are developing master modes. That summary is linked up for you right now, and during that summary they said that there are some parts that haven't really been addressed, such as QED and what to do with racing. Racing is a pillar of Star Citizen. It's one of the things that was out before Planets and has the potential to be really fun, and it has a cult following within the game. Jared observed that perhaps the racetracks would need to be adjusted to conform to the new, less performing flight model. And that's definitely one way to approach the problem. But to clarify, I believe that he was talking about what we remember from other earlier patches where ships, specifically racing ships, could carve high-speed turns by boosting with very little drifting. High speed, high skill, and yes, unrealistic in many ways, but there was a huge racing community because it was fun and challenging. Reading chat during that live show, it did spark up a little bit when he said that, and some of the comments were along the lines of the following basic themes. Some people wanted the speed and agility in racing to remain the same. Some people said racing, even if slower, was fine as long as it was fair, and some people went on to say that racing would die after 323, which I think is pretty dramatic, and I hope that those posts were meant to be funny. I have the topic today broken down into two parts, the two chained ideas. The first is guns, and I'm going to begin with a little story. When dogfighting in Star Citizen, you may eventually plateau, and I used to spice things up to improve my skill further by changing to a more challenging opponent or some other factor. I loved to enter squadron battle with an M50 or some other racing ship, but my M50 had a fixed pair of Omnisky, and I didn't even mind if I died more. I quickly realized that I was actually able to get behind a target and just sit there. I realized that despite having weaker guns, they actually couldn't shake your agility, and you could actually be quite competitive, landing the DPS. Dogfighting in a racing ship was viable, and it somewhat became the meta for many patches. And there was also a patch, I believe it was patch 2.1, where we were still using IFCS. Around the racing track, I was able to pick up a couple seconds by removing the missiles and guns because that flight model was still physicalized. The ship mass was calculated based on the parts and their location, so taking a couple tons of guns off resulted in real gains. The second part of this chained idea is the concept of building an actual racing ship. Teams, real teams, spend millions choosing magnesium, aluminum, titanium, carbon, Kevlar, and carbon fiber. Power to weight ratio is the key to unlock all aspects of performance, and center of gravity is the key to unlock all aspects of the change of direction. Unless I'm in some kind of Mad Max type endurance race, and if I was purely focused on getting around the track as quickly as possible, I think we can agree the guns, the ammo, the missiles, countermeasures, and hardpoints would come off. Also, any avionic or defense system that doesn't make that ship turn better, that doesn't make me boost longer, that does not prevent me from blowing up because of overheating, would be thinned out and probably left in the garage. Racing ships in Star Citizen are specialized ships in a larger fleet of Star Citizen ships. Because this is the new direction for the flight model, all ships do need to be part of master modes, which makes sense. They all need to conform to the same rules and must be balanced. But the balance issue does not always need to be a one-to-one solution. Rather than trying to balance the racers with all other ships, why not ensure the racers are balanced against each other for a competition, and then take other steps to ensure the racing ships will never offer any performance that'll become OP against other ships. The mode switching component of master modes is all about balancing many aspects of flight gameplay, including bounty hunting and being hunted. If your racing ship has no weapons and your racing ship mounts a racing scanner, it would automatically present zero tactical advantage for you to be anywhere other than a racetrack in that ship, and it would therefore be very easy to balance. No weapons and that lightweight sensor would also justify why that ship is able to get around the racing track better than another. A racer needs only to see the waypoint and needs to see where the opponents are. So that was the idea of the racing scanner. Take the teeth off of the racing category and then unlock a racing performance envelope. Then you don't need to modify any of the racing tracks because they're probably lots of fun exactly the way they are. And I used to really love racing in the earlier patches, and I'm not asking for the old flight system. I am, however, asking why nobody's considered removing weapons as a balance option. That's the core of the whole idea. As soon as the pilot decides that their racing ship needs offensive systems, the ship is returned to a more standard master mode envelope. Again, in closing, I'm all about and I fully appreciate the challenges that the developers face to balance the game, to balance Star Citizen. I also appreciate that I haven't actually addressed the problem or the idea of a racer trying to put down a lap in the PU without being attacked by another player in a fighter, because we still have parts of law missing. We still expect all of those problems to be addressed in the future. Racing isn't what it was, and I think it's about to get worse, and this might be an easy way for racers to have the exciting performance and experience that they're looking for without creating a situation where that performance can be exploited in combat. What say you? Comment in the comments with your comments. Now is the time for feedback to the devs before all of these systems are fully dialed in. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.